Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hacking Pixels. Hacking Pixels covers some of the hottest cybersecurity news from around the internet, along with a twist of retro video game nostalgia. Hacking Pixels is brought to you by Actionable Security, securing small businesses with actionable insights. Actionable Security specializes in cybersecurity services tailored for small businesses, such as risk assessments, email hardening, virtual chief information security officer advisory, and a lot more. Go to actionablesec.com for more information. Welcome to this extra special episode celebrating 40 years of The Legend of Zelda. 4 decades of dungeons, secrets, swords, and chickens that'll absolutely destroy you if you poke them too many times. Zelda has been a constant in my gaming life, so I wanted to take a little trip through 3 classics to celebrate. To those that are new to the podcast, I'm your host, Frank Morano, founder of Actionable Security and your Zelda lore keeper. Today, we're skipping the cybersecurity stuff and focusing on Zelda games from the past to celebrate. But first, a message from Actionable Security about our WordPress Risk Spotlight.
Your WordPress site might look polished on the outside, but what's hiding in the shadows? Hackers love those dark corners, and that's where WordPress Risk Spotlight steps in. We shine a big, bright light on hidden vulnerabilities, scanning your environment and external footprint to uncover risks you didn't even know existed. Think of it as a backstage pass to your site's security. We pull back the curtain, check the locks, and make sure you're following WordPress best practices so attackers don't get a front row seat. It's quick, authoritative, and super affordable, designed to give business owners peace of mind without the drama. Because let's face it, security should be smart, not scary. Don't wait for hackers to write the script. Take control of the spotlight. Reach out to Actionable Security at actionablesec.com and let's keep your WordPress safe and sound.
Great stuff. I wanted to talk for a second about why I built WordPress Risk Spotlight in the first place. Over the years, I've seen so many small businesses get blindsided by WordPress vulnerabilities. Not because they were careless, but because they didn't have the budget for a full security team or the time to keep up with plugin risks, configuration issues, or the constant stream of new exploits. I wanted to create something that was actually accessible, something small businesses could afford without having to choose between security and paying the bills. That's why I priced WordPress Risk Spotlight at $4.99. It's a one-time engagement that gives you real actionable insights into your site's security without the enterprise level price tag. We take a look at your external footprint, make sure you're following WordPress best practices, and dig into your plugins to flag anything that's outdated, vulnerable, or just plain dangerous. It's the kind of checkup every WordPress site should get, but most never do. So if you're running a WordPress site, whether you're a business, a blog, a store, whatever, reach out to Actionable Security. We'll help you lock it down before the attackers ever get a chance. Anyway, let's get to it and talk Zelda. First up is the game we're celebrating, The Legend of Zelda for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Hard to believe this one's 40 years old. The Legend of Zelda launched in 1986 as an action-adventure game for the Family Computer Disk System in Japan. It was the very first game in the series created by Shigeru Miyamoto and was developed alongside Super Mario Bros. Mario was about tight, linear platforming. Zelda was the opposite, open, exploratory, mysterious. The game is set in the fantasy land of Hyrule, where an elf-like kid named Link has to collect the 8 fragments of the Triforce of Wisdom to rescue Princess Zelda from Ganon. Simple premise, legendary execution. My first encounter with it was at a friend's house, and it absolutely blew my mind. Up until that point, games didn't really let you just wander. But Zelda did, and I spent hours killing enemies, burning bushes, bombing walls, and discovering secrets that felt like I found them, not because the game told me to, but because I was curious. And the overworld theme, still one of the greatest pieces of game music ever written. It made everything feel like an adventure. Sure, compared to something like Tears of the Kingdom, it's far simpler, but it holds up. It's still fun, it's still Zelda. Before I move on, here's a little piece of trivia I always loved. It was one of the first home console games to feature a battery save, which was revolutionary at that time. And if all this talk has you itching to revisit it, the good news is you can fire up the original Zelda on the Nintendo Switch Online NES library. Alright, now let's talk about the oddball Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link came out in 1987 in Japan and 1988 in North America. It was a direct sequel, one of the few in the series that picks up immediately after the first game, but Nintendo took a huge swing with this one. Instead of the top down exploration from the original, they introduced a hybrid system, a top down overworld with side scrolling towns and combat. The When I first popped it into my NES, I remember thinking, "Wait, what happened?" The overworld graphics felt like a downgrade, and suddenly I'm in a 2D side scroller like Mario. It was jarring, but over time I learned to appreciate it. The combat is more like Castlevania, timing, precision, high stakes, and it introduced a lot of first towns, NPCs with actual dialogue, magic spells, and even experience points. It's the only Zelda game that actually uses experience points. And of course, the Dark Link fight. The moment burned into my memory, it's still one of the most iconic boss battles in the franchise. And here's something that still surprises people when I mention it. Zelda 2 is one of the few Zelda games where Princess Zelda barely appears. She's asleep for the entire story. And if you want to give this oddball another shot, or maybe your first shot, it's easy to find. It's also available on the Nintendo Switch Online NES library, complete with the rewind button that makes the experience way more forgiving. Lastly, we're sticking with the 8-bit errors and saving Link to the Past for another day. We're going to finish things up with The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for Game Boy. Now, this one, it's pure magic. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening released in 1993 for Game Boy. It started as a side project, literally something Nintendo developers were tinkering with after hours, and eventually evolved into a full Zelda game. It was the first handheld Zelda title, and for a lot of us, it was the first time we could take a Hyrule style adventure on the go. When I first played it, I was surprised it had a top down overworld like the original, but the graphics were shockingly good for an 8-bit handheld. It looked closer to A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo than anything I expected on Game Boy. And then there were Mario characters: Chomp Chomp, Yoshi, Wart, Goombas, Piranha Plants. It was like Nintendo just raided their own toy box. And the wildest part? No Princess Zelda, no Triforce. It's all set on an island, and the whole thing has this dreamlike, surreal vibe. This is easily one of my favorite portable Zelda games, and when they remade it for the Switch, that was a full nostalgia blast. The toy diorama art style, the music, the charm, it all came rushing back. And here's a bit of behind the scenes history that makes the game even cooler. The original Link's Awakening was heavily inspired by the TV show Twin Peaks. The developers wanted a small town full of strange, memorable characters. And if you never played it or you want to relive it, you got options. The Game Boy version is on Switch Online, and the full remake is available on the Switch eShop. So here we are, 40 years after that first gold cartridge changed gaming forever. From the original NES classic to A Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and now Echoes of Wisdom, Zelda has reinvented itself again and again while still feeling like Zelda. These games have always been some of my favorites. Their comfort food, their adventure, their imagination, and I'm really hoping Nintendo has some surprises lined up for the 40th anniversary. Maybe a collection, maybe a remake, maybe something totally unexpected. Thanks for hanging out with me for this special episode of Hacking Pixels. Go play some Zelda, enjoy the nostalgia, and I'll catch you next month. Same bad time, same bad channel, and remember, this episode of Hacking Pixels is brought to you by Actionable Security, your trusted partner in safeguarding small businesses. With decades of experience, Actionable Security offers tailored cybersecurity services such as risk assessments, email hardening, and virtual chief information security officer advisory. For more details on how we can help protect your business, visit actionablesec.com.